Welcome back to the show, beautiful people. We're going to continue our video series about digital currency, about the economic crash, about how to survive the market manipulation, the world wars, the psychological warfare, the propaganda, and the ongoing efforts of these communists who are trying to take over the entire planet. This next slide is entitled The Hegelian Dialectic. The Hegelian dialectic is where the ruling elite create a problem anticipating in advance the reaction of the population to the crisis and thus conditioning the people to call for change. When the population is properly conditioned, the desired agenda of the ruling elite is presented as the solution. The solution they present is not intended to solve the problem, but to serve as the basis for a new problem or exacerbate the existing one. When the newly created problem reaches boiling point, it becomes the foundation for the people to clamor for change again. This process is repeated over and over, all the time moving society towards whatever the end point they have in mind. Problem, reaction, solution. So they create the problem, they wait for the people to react, and then they come in and offer a solution. I'm going to give you an example of this. On September 11th, 2001, the ruling elites manufactured an attack on the World Trade Center in New York City. They lied about it on TV to the American tax slaves, blaming it on terrorists in the Middle East. They did this in order to gain support from the American taxpayers to invade the Middle East and go to war with the Middle East under the guise of a terrorist threat. When the real reason the ruling elites wanted to invade the Middle East was to destroy its infrastructure, then rebuild it with their own central banks. At the same time, taking control of all the ancient sites, securing the advanced technology of the ancients, securing significant artifacts, genetic material, and any archaeological data that would alert humanity to their true history. After the ruling elites secure the desired area, they will continue to tax, regulate, and persecute the inhabitants. So let's break this down again. The problem, terrorists blow up the World Trade Center. Reaction, American taxpayers are now afraid of terrorists blowing them up. Solution, invade the Middle East to stop terrorists. They did the same thing with the attack on Pearl Harbor. They did the same thing with the fake pandemic of 2020. And they're about to do the same thing again with a cyber attack. And we know this because they actually tell you what they're going to do before they do it. Okay, take a look at this commercial from the World Economic Forum. The World Economic Forum is ran by the ruling elites. And they do these commercials in order to program and condition you. It's called predictive programming. What is Operation Mockingbird, also known as Mockingbird Media? Operation Mockingbird was a covert U.S. government operation ran by the CIA to implant pro-US propaganda in American media and front organizations. Starting in the 1950s, the CIA began to hire and contract students and people in the media to write false stories or embellish stories to favor the US government. In 1967, it was proven in Ramparts magazine that even the National Student Organization was being funneled money by the CIA for festivals and other events. Using phony companies and mysterious benefactors, these collectives created massive amounts of propaganda using the average American student. And this is still going on today. We see it with all the mainstream social media platforms, and we especially see it with the World Economic Forum and their predictive programming.
The young generation, like Prime Minister Trudeau, half of this cabinet, are actually young leaders of the World Economic Forum. So if we penetrate the cabinets, the change is not just happening. The change can be shaped by us. We have to prepare for a more angry world. How to prepare? To take the necessary action to create a fairer world. I see the need for a great reset. So people assume we are just going back to the good old world which we had and everything will be normal again. This is, let's say, fiction. It will not happen.
There is only one way this pandemic is going to go. It's going to get worse and worse and worse.
Pay insufficient attention to the frightening scenario of a comprehensive cyber attack, which would bring to a complete halt to the power supply, transportation, hospital services, our society as a whole. The COVID-19 crisis would be seen in this respect as a small disturbance in comparison to a major cyber attack.
This is the DDoS and cyber attack map. What is a DDoS attack? DDoS stands for Distributed Denial of Service. DDoS is an attempt to exhaust the resources available to a network application or service so that genuine users cannot gain access. Increased DDoS attacks have led to innovation in the areas of tools, targets, and techniques. So I believe that their plan is to attack the financial systems, possibly with a DDoS attack, or something that would disrupt people's ability to access banking, something that would disrupt people's ability to withdraw money from the ATM, something that will make the banks go offline. Once this is accomplished, the people will be living in fear and they will be desperate. Remember, problem, reaction, solution. The problem will be people can't access their money. The financial system crashed. The reaction is people are scared, people are starving, people are desperate, people can't go to work, people can't put gas in their cars. Then the World Economic Forum and the ruling elites come in with their solution, a great reset, universal basic income, full surveillance of everyone's money, social credit system. You will be completely tracked, monitored, and enslaved through the financial system that they create. We recently saw Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, to freeze anti-mandate protesters' bank accounts. So basically anyone who believes in freedom, they are going after your bank account in Canada. Let's read a little bit more about this. It says, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has taken the unprecedented step of invoking the Emergencies Act to crack down on anti-vaccine mandate protests. Mr. Trudeau said the scope of the measures would be time-limited, reasonable, and proportionate, and would not see military deployment. With no need for court orders, banks can freeze personal accounts of anyone linked with the protest. Hundreds of demonstrators remain in Canada's capital city. On Sunday, law enforcement cleared anti-mandate protests at the Ambassador Bridge in Windsor, a critical pathway for Canadian or Canada-U.S. trade after a week-long stalemate. Justin Trudeau is one of the students of the Forum of Young Global Leaders, which is the World Economic Forum's and Klaus Schwab's school, where they train people on how to infiltrate the governments in other countries and then change policies in ways that suits the agenda of the World Economic Forum. And we know that their agenda is to remove property ownership rights, to put everyone on universal basic income and have them tracked and monitored with a social credit system, which would basically mean that if you spoke out against the government or you criticized the government or you were vocal about your freedom and your rights, they would just cancel you in society. You would not have access to banking. You would not have access to travel and transportation. They would literally just click a button and then you are shut off. All right, let's talk about why cryptocurrency is important. During the protests, the freedom protests in Canada, as the Canadian government was freezing people's bank accounts, as well as blocking millions of dollars raised through a centralized crowdfunding platform called GoFundMe, people began circumventing the government and circumventing the censorship and the blockages of money by using Bitcoin. And it says right here, they raised around $900,000 in Bitcoin. Because you see, Bitcoin can't be frozen the way that a centralized bank can be frozen. Because Bitcoin runs on a decentralized network, and there's no third-party intermediary controlling and confirming all the transactions. The transactions are confirmed through a decentralized network that expands all around the world. These kind of things are also why it's important to hold physical gold. In fact, according to this article, the Russian central bank is looking to move back into gold. This article reads, the Russian central bank has said it will resume buying gold from the domestic market as it takes measures to help ensure financial stability amid Western sanctions against the country over the war in Ukraine. This is largely a firefighting exercise as the ruble collapses and the Russian stocks tumble. Recently, Russia was cut off from SWIFT payment system, and this caused the value or the purchasing power of their currency, the ruble, to plummet overnight. I also believe it is important to hold physical silver, as physical silver is used in almost all the electronic devices that we are using on a daily basis. Without silver, your iPhones and your MacBooks and your DSLR cameras will not work. So silver has a real use case and an actual utility in the world. And if you have physical silver as well as physical gold, in the event of an economic collapse or where everyone's money is frozen in the bank, what do you think people are going to do? People are going to go back to trading hard assets like silver, gold, food, guns, bullets, even cryptocurrencies, assuming that the internet is still functional. See, the problem with cryptocurrencies is that without the internet, they don't work. And that is what we call a counterparty risk. So saving your money in the bank is a counterparty risk because the bank can deny you access to your money. The internet presents a counterparty risk with using cryptocurrencies because if the internet goes out, well, that's a counterparty risk. Visa, American Express, MasterCard, Discover, those are all counterparty risks because they rely on a third-party intermediary to confirm the transactions or give you permission to send and receive money, in other words. Same thing with Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal. Those are all payment processing services that entail a counterparty risk. Even relying on a regular 9-to-5 job as your only income source is a huge counterparty risk. Here is the unemployment in 2020 when the ruling elites unleashed their propaganda campaign and announced the fake pandemic. Millions and millions of people in the middle class lost their jobs and got wiped out. So it's very dangerous to rely on one stream of income, especially if that stream of income is only paying you in cash and then you're saving all the cash in the bank. We saw that not only is the United States dollar inflating, but banks are freezing people's money. If you participate in a protest or if you like freedom, then you are at risk of being targeted by the ruling elites. This is where I get my silver. I get it from 7K Metals, and I also get it from my store here at Quicksilver. So these are both online silver stores that I have access to, where I can also share with other people if I choose. But what I'm doing is I get a little bit of silver auto shipped every single month. That way I put my wealth building on autopilot, and I'm able to hedge against inflation and economic collapses on autopilot. Because if everything goes to zero, if the United States dollar completely crashes to zero, if there's record high unemployment, if we have a complete financial collapse, people will go back to gold and silver. So I'm going to leave links to both these stores in the description of my video for anyone who wants to buy silver, or if you want to become an affiliate and share silver with other people. I'm also earning cryptocurrency by running nodes. Nodes confirm transactions for the decentralized networks and cryptocurrency. So I'm running a node with this green energy project right here where I'm going to be earning, well, I already am earning cryptocurrency on autopilot, and I can show you what that looks like right here. See, every day I get a reward in cryptocurrency because I'm operating my node. I'm also running this node for a blockchain gaming ecosystem. So this node is confirming transactions for a blockchain gaming ecosystem, and I can show you some of the rewards that are coming in here each day. And if you're one of those people who has lost their job, or you are concerned about losing your job in the event of another fake pandemic or a shutdown, if you click the link in the description of this video where it says join my coaching program, I can teach you how to build an online business and how to manifest money using your laptop and your smartphone. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for viewing my videos. Let me know if you have any opinions you'd like to share, or if you know of any interesting articles that are relevant to the topics I previously discussed. I do appreciate everyone who shares information with me, and I will see you guys in the next video.